Okay, so I painted it black now, and it definitely took a lot less paint because I had that first layer of that white. It definitely soaked up a lot less paint to coat it in black. And I think what I'm going to do is kind of a technique I learned again from Bob Ross, because that's all I could afford as a kid, in getting an image behind the oil paint without having to use the oil paint. And so it's just using gesso, which are acrylics, but they're like a matte acrylic. It's a base formula. And so I have black, white, and gray, which my gray has been sitting for a long time, and it's kind of weird. It has like a clump of paint in it. It's like shaking it like crazy. And then I'm going to use a natural sponge, but you can use like a wadded up newspaper or paper towel to get the same kind of effect. So we're going to create distant trees, and depending how bright you want this, if you want this to be like daytime and you're walking through the woods, you might want to use more white. I'm thinking more nighttime, so I'm going to use more gray and black. I don't want anything to be too bright. I might do a little white over here because I think I'm going to have a moon over here, but I'm going to keep it very faint because I don't really have an idea. So I'm just on a piece of cardboard, and this is the owl mold. It comes with these words too. Wish it, dream it, do it. That's the mold I made. But on her wrapping, I'm just going to pour some of this paint out. And I'm going to use the black and probably mainly the gray. But I'll put a little white out. And again, you could probably do this in use what you have and try to achieve whatever you want. Whatever kind of look you want. This is just what I'm going to go for. So I'm going to just try to be very light if you're using a natural sponge, because you want all these, you don't want to saturate it. So kind of tap it, because you want see all these little, you want that. And then I'm going to get into some gray. And you're going to just begin kind of stippling around. And if I'm going to have a moon over here, this will be darker over here. And this will just give you some kind of background that will be kind of fuzzy in the dark, in the distance type idea, because we're going to paint over this with oil. You know, let some light spots fall, because that might be like a tree right there, or a part of a... So just let whatever happens happen. Okay. And you can take this as much or as little as you want it, you know. But try to keep some of your dark in there, because the dark is what... If you cover it all in gray, it's going to look like we painted the background. So you want to try to leave as much of your dark showing. That way you can really see what's going on. Because you need the dark for the light to show. So I just added a tiny little bit of white in here. It's hard not to overdo things. Let me... Maybe that's a kind of a... like a branch type thing right there. Maybe one right there. You know, we're up in the trees with the owl, so it's not like you're going to see grass below or anything. Okay, I think I'm actually fairly happy with that. And because it's thin, it's not really soaked. So what I'm going to do next, oops, sorry, I bumped the camera. I'm going to just take some black and gray on I have an angled brush, but whatever kind of brush you have, and make a dark color. These are going to be background trees type thing. And just put in some, you know, trees or limbs or whatever. Remember, our tree's going to be going over there, so our big tree. And you can set it on here to see what everything looks like. And if that big tree's that big, I think some of this has to be bigger, actually. But again, we're going to paint over this, so. You can take a little, like a liner brush type thing, and put in little limbs. You know, and obviously you have tons of time to play around with this at home. Like when you're not on a video, you can really sit here and nitpick. But again, it's background. You're not going to be seeing this. This is not going to be your main focus. It's just background. I should get some water in here, because I need a little water to get it to flow a little better. You could have evergreens or whatever you want for branches or type trees. It doesn't really matter. Some of them you're really not going to see much, you know? That's fine. And you could put as many in here or as little in here as you want. It's really just up to you. Just kind of have fun. And lay it all on and make some really big, make some little. Make some lighter, make some darker. And that's going to be kind of where some of them where the, maybe the moon will kind of hit it a little bit. Who knows? Just let things kind of happen on their own. Let your brush go crazy. Let it kind of do its own little thing, and it will let your hand be loose, you know? Don't make everything so stiff. But don't judge yourself as much either. I have a hard time. I do that to myself. That's too white right there. And I'll be like, oh, God, that branch is like weird. Or I'll be like, it looks funny. Or don't let yourself get into that mode of beating yourself up so much. Because honestly, 90% of the time when other people look at it, they're like, oh, it's so beautiful. So, even though I see flaws in it, we're all our own worst critics. So don't allow yourself to fall into that mental game of beating yourself up. And half the time, who cares where some of these branches come from, you know? They're just kind of out here. I'm going to make some of them a little bit lighter. Just an easy way to create some background stuff going on, a lot of depth and a lot of different things going on without having to be overly detailed and crazy about things. This is what I would call an underpainting. Under what you're actually going to paint. Some of this paint really doesn't want to flow. The gray is really thin, which is nice, but the black and the white's not. The thinner it is, the easier it will be to flow. And I'm not using the best liner brush to get really fine stuff, but again, I'm not overly worried about it. Really dark ones in there. Peeking out little things. I mean, you can also take your sponge and go back over if you want to hit some spots. Nice little easy kind of background here. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry and then we'll come back with my water soluble oils or your acrylics or watercolors or whatever you want. Okay, so that's now all dry. And if you're gonna use any type of oil, your acrylic or your base paint, if it's acrylic or gesso, needs to be completely dry. It does not mix with either of the oils. So some people might say, hey, you could put that right on there now, and that would be fine. I'm going to get some color in here just because I feel like it, but not like crazy color. So here I have, and again, I'm using the Artisan from Winsor & Newton, which are water mixables. So I have Sap Green, which is a fairly transparent color. I have Phthalo Blue. I'm using zinc white instead of titanium white. Zinc white's a little more transparent than titanium, but we may go back with titanium later. And then I have a little alizarin crimson, because maybe we'll get some red in here somewhere. I don't know. So first thing I'm going to do, and what's nice about this is you do not need oils. You like a linseed oil or anything. You can just use water. So I'm just going to wet my brush just a hair. And you could, you know, wet your canvas if you want too. That might be handy. But either way, I'm going to take some of this phthalo and just lightly tint it. This is like just tinting. See? Maybe, you know, we'll put some sap green in here and there. Just different. Again, kind of keeping this dark and moody. But keep it light. It's going to reflect, I know, because it's oil paint. Even when I take photos, it reflects. Try to change my angle. Just a little bit. If you get too much, just tap it off. Again, a little more water. I'm not coating this like a regular oil painting. I'm just kind of tinting it because we created all that fun stuff in the background. And you can do layers of this if you want. You can have your paint thicker. Just go with it pure with no water. And it'll start to become more opaque and cover things up more. You could actually thinly, like if you want these brown, you could make them brown if you wanted to. You know, just have fun and experiment. And it is tinting down here. You just can't see it very well with the glare. And again, this is night, so at night colors are more muted, so I don't want to make anything too bright, if I can help it. Back out a little bit. Yeah, kind of neat, huh? And then maybe, let me just get a little water on here. So plain water. Maybe we'll go blue and then we'll add some alizarin. So a little more blue. Certain spots. Very little paint on it. Just kind of mainly doing a wash almost. And again, this will stay wet. This is oil paint, so it's going to stay wet. Obviously, the more water you add, the faster with the water evaporation it will dry, but get too much on there, just kind of wipe it off. I mean, you don't need to wear gloves either with this, but I am because I don't want to get paint all over my hands at the moment. I have to go out today. I was thinking down here maybe to add a little alizarin. Get kind of a purpley tone away from here. Just adding some more blue still. Take very little. Very, very little. I'm gonna get some more water on my brush just to thin things out. Very, very little paint. Treat it more like a watercolor. Maybe you get more of a purpley tone down here. I don't know if it's showing up purple to you guys, but it is to me. And actually alizarin in this and some greens like phthalo green actually make a cool purple. Not the sap green, but like a really blue green. Like phthalo green blue tone. Look at that purple. I actually like that kind of tone in there. I don't know. Maybe some of that in these spots that look like they're really far back. And I'm sorry, it glares. It's just kind of what it is. My hand's hurting pinching it like that though. See, I feel like the green's looking further forward and the purple, you know, in some of these spots that look really far back, like this one, the purple's making it look deeper. I gotta set it down, hang on. Yep, just set it right in my paint. So again, you can really just play with this as much or as little as you want. You know, and then stand back and look at it and see from a distance what it looks like. And once this kind of sets up, this will dry quick because it's a thin layer. It'll dry pretty quick. Just a little more red in here. Just kind of scumbling it around. See, if you go too much though, it's gonna... This is nighttime, so it's hard to resist yourself and hold back, you know, because it's not daytime. So obviously brighter colors would hint more at day because there's light behind all of this, but we're kind of hinting more at night. Now the heat gun will not dry. If this was thick oil paint, you just got to let it dry. But because there's water mixed in with it, I'm just trying to evaporate out some of the water. Just so it's not glaring, so you guys can actually see what's going on. You see that? So we just kind of tinted everything pretty easily, honestly, pretty easily. Now the oil paint under here is still going to be moist, see? But it's a thin layer, so it's not going to really be that tacky. So what we can do next... Right, here's my owl. Take a peek at it. Oh, I just set it on something so it wasn't laying flat, so it kind of bent a little bit, but that's okay. When we glue it down, we'll hold it flat. So here it is. And it actually looks to me, put you on top and see if you can... God, I wish oil showed up better on camera. There we go. I think it looks pretty cool just like this, no? I do. But maybe we'll add some light. Maybe a little light shining through here, maybe. Maybe not a full moon because there's too many trees going on. If you do a full moon, it'll be like it's inside the forest, which kind of wouldn't make sense. I'll lay that down flat. Okay, it was like propped up on something. So what I'll do is I'll take some of this zinc white and on a stiff brush, if you have a stiff brush, like this one's so old, but this is really stiff, just a little bit of it. Literally the tiniest amount, and tap it off. And we're gonna kind of maybe just lighten up a little area, like lightly. Really don't want much paint. You can kind of shine some light streaks through here. See? Now if that was a sun, you could really do that, but you can brighten up some spots. See that? And it's mixing with the blue that's on the canvas up here. See? Can you see that? That streak that we just made? So very, very little paint. Maybe we'll put another one like right here. Maybe we'll put that one in front of the tree. See? And you can lighten up spots by doing that. Say, oh, I want this a little lighter. You can kind of buff in and lighten up spots by doing that if you want to. Okay, grab a little bit more. Maybe we'll have one. Kind of coming down. Let's make this all a little lighter right here. This is going to be, you know, super, super simple. This is not like a complex painting where we're going to layer up oil paint like traditional. Very, very thin. I don't want this to take 10 weeks to dry, you know, or a year. Traditional oil paints can take up to a year. You know, things, depending how thick your layers are, can take months. And I don't want that. I just want like thin, thin layers. We can also, we could paint foreground trees with oil as well if we want to. I don't know. I'm almost fairly happy with the look I'm getting here. I wish I had here, I have a little cheap, smaller brush close by. I'm going to put a little bit of that white on. And just kind of go behind these tree limbs here. I know it might not seem like much, but you can always build this up and add more and more and more. Taking it away is a lot harder, so really little paint. Can't stress that enough. Very small amounts of paint. Oh. Paintbrushes. Too much paint on there. I mean, I could paint a tree in here and get all kinds of texture and stuff going on, but I don't know if that's really what I want to do. I'm just trying to glow this tree out a little bit, like where that light was kind of hitting it. And again, it's picking up all the background color. So it's not going to be pure white. Branch I definitely made a little light, but that's okay, just go with it. You can go into some blue, some green, maybe even some alizarin, just a darker color. Again, tapping my brush off to get very light here. I'm going to kind of define this back side of this tree. Now worry about what's going to show up, where your owl is going to be. Just paint it in as if there is no owl in front, because, you know, a forest would not set itself up to be like, oh, the owl is going to sit here, so we're going to put this tree here. You know, just kind of let it do its thing and do the background as the background. And I mean, I could totally cover all of this so it doesn't look like it's behind there, but I don't really want to. I don't really want to make that big of a thing of it. I have to. And I'm using very transparent colors right now. Very transparent. Some colors are really, really opaque. Yellow ochre is. A lot of the ones with the light colors. I don't know, I'm just kind of playing around. I'm already 17 minutes into this, so I should probably stop. Now I could get black out and use black, but I'm thinking these colors are dark enough. Just to kind of suggest, your eye is really good. Your eye is really good at knowing what things are, even if you don't paint it perfectly. So just suggest it, and your eye will make it out that it's a tree, you know what I mean? Or a branch or whatever. You know, you don't have to paint every feather on a bird, just suggest at feathers, and the brain is smart enough to know that those are supposed to be feathers. So it's really just about kind of hinting at things. And letting your brain interpret, or letting someone's brain interpret the rest. Just putting some of these in front again, in front of that glow. Just using a mud kind of color. And because I don't want it thick, I'm kind of blending it back out. And again, you can add as much of that glow as you want or not. Darkening some spots that look like they're really far back. And the darker it is next to your glow, the brighter it will seem. If you make everything really, really bright, your glow's not going to seem that bright. So the darker everything is around it, the brighter it will seem. I mean, and I didn't make it crazy bright here either, but I could have. I could keep layering and add more and more, but I kind of want this to be mysterious-ish. Oh, I'm going to get I don't know if I told you, I'm going to get tested for the coronavirus today in a little bit. And I'm kind of dreading getting that thing stuck up my nose. That far back, you know? I'm like, ugh. We'll see. I'll let you know how it feels if no one's done it yet. I'm like, ugh. Okay. Honestly, I think I'm done with my background. I really am. That was pretty easy. It really is. I mean, it might look complicated, but it's really not. And then all of these brushes that I just used can go right in water, and they're water soluble. So this oil paint will clean right off just like your acrylics, which is awesome. The Winsor & Newton is better. My mom bought me these in about 9th grade, and I'm 32. And so I was probably, what, like 14, 15, and I still have these. These ones clean a little harder. They're a little more greasy, so I definitely have to use like Dawn dish soap. But the newer brand cleans easier. This is really old. This newer one cleans better, but I still do prefer the Winsor & Newton. That one cleans the easiest with soap and water. But a lot of these tubes, I mean, I've had this tube for 12 years now. A lot of these tubes I've had since I became an adult and was able to buy my own art supplies and had a job. So, now I should let that dry before I put this on here for permanently. You know, I'll let that dry. But I think with this, it looks cool, no? Right? How simple. I mean, you could take this in all different directions, but I think this will be perfect. I think I'm going to just use the waxes on it. I mean, I could paint this, but I think I'm just going to use the metallic waxes on it. So let me get those out, and that will be, I think, the last thing. And then we'll glue this guy down, which will be, you know, like I said, I had it propped up, and I think it was pushed up on this, so it kind of bent it up, but it's polymer clay, so it's bendy. So once I glue it down, I'll probably use a mix of hot glue and a gel medium. Now this is a different board, so it might not be perfect fit, but I don't think anybody will really care if my tree branch doesn't touch the top perfectly. I don't think anybody will notice or really care. Yeah, I like that. And I mean, you could put the glow around the bird if you wanted to, you know, hint more around him. But I think with the waxes, we'll bulk it up. I'm going to stop talking because I do that. Okay, so I got out a bunch of my waxes. This is every wax I have. But you could use, like I have oil pastels here. These are metallic ones. I could rub a little bit of this on my finger and totally highlight these with that too. So use what you have and try to figure out a way. You could dry brush this with a metallic paint. I just like these waxes. I really do. And I haven't been doing mixed media, so I don't get an opportunity to use them. This one is, these two are Decoart metallic luster waxes. I have a black and a turquoise. This one is Inca Gold. And it's like a coppery, yep, copper, is a wax. These are softer than some of the other waxes, or this one is at least. And then I have my Prima ones. So I have the Opal Magics, which show up really well on black, not so much on white. And then I have the, like the metallic ones, and these are really cool looking too. So let's, I don't know, let's play around with these. This one's Bronze Age here. And again, I've said this before, don't worry, that's not mold, it's the product separating. This one's Amethyst. Okay, pretty color. This one is Mystic Turquoise, which, let me wipe off the top so you can actually see it underneath. Beautiful, huh? Then we have Red Amber. That's the same kind of thing. I haven't used these in a while. Beautiful color. I don't know how bright I want to get on this. And then Lucky Emerald. Oh, Same thing, hang on. Okay, and then the Opal Magics, which I know I've showed you in my mom's project, but on this it looks really, on black it looks really, really gorgeous. On white it gives you just a nice shimmer. So I don't know, what one do I want to, the Vintage Silk is nice. So let me see how bright that is. So maybe we'll use some Vintage Silk. But you could have fun with this. You could put blue in your tree, purple in your tree. Maybe we'll do a little bit of both. You know, wherever this light might be hitting, we'll use the lighter colors. The green one's pretty cool too, the green brocade. See? I don't know if you can tell the difference between the green. You can. I mean, I can, but I don't know on camera if you can. Let me see. On camera, it doesn't look that green, but it definitely is. Turquoise is nice, but I'm probably not going to use that. Let's, this one is the Bronze Age. Over here. I think I'm going to use some of the purple and the blue over here too. Why not, right? Even the red. A little bit of this red one that I already told you the color of. Sometimes if you tap it off on the cover, you can get a little less on your finger. Ooh, that's pretty. Just have fun. I might want to take this off my background so I don't get it on my background, because I don't want it. I mean, you could totally put it on your background, but I don't want it on my background. Doesn't take much. More of the bronze here and there. And this will bring out all that texture we made. That's why I wanted to make my own texture, because I really wanted it to be nice and textury, so when I did something like this. But again, you could use a paintbrush and really little paint on your paintbrush and use some acrylic paint if you wanted. Or again, oil pastels and just rub it on your finger like this. You can do the same kind of effect with oil pastels. Let's use some of this blue. This is, what is it, Mystic Turquoise? I don't want tons of it because trees aren't blue, but just, I don't know, some fun shadow. Color. And then depending how the light's going to hit everything will depend on what you, how much of this you actually see. Trying to put it in the shadow sides. Let's do some of the purple too. I'll hold this up in a minute to show you everything. Ooh, cool, huh? I don't want it too purpley on that. Maybe some of the green brocade. Is that what the green one's called? No, Lucky Emerald. And I did put a few of these waxes, not all the colors I have, on my Amazon Mixed Media tab, which again is below in all the descriptions of every video since I started that. I think I'm going to go back with some more vintage silk on the light areas. Like where the light's coming from up here, so kind of where the light would be striking this guy. I mean, probably not too much light in front of him, but I'm going to put some anyways, because if the light's behind him, this would be darker, but I feel like using it, so I'm going to. Is that a piece of paper back there? Yep. Gotta get that off after. Super cool, huh? I love these waxes when you have the opportunity to use them. And I have them testing on polymer clay. It's been about, I think I started testing them in July or August on polymer clay. So, on polymer clay and with resin on top of some of it. So, I have that going in the test to see if it's compatible. This brand. Just put some on from all angles. Isn't that awesome? I don't know. I just really like this stuff. Let's put a little purple down here. A bit of red. And where's the green? Why not? Right? That's cool, huh? I really like this stuff. It's so fun. I'm putting on some of the green, the Opal Magic green brocade right now. This is the shadow side, so I'm just going to put some shadows all around. Different colors. Why not? Oh, see, broke a piece off. It's okay, it still looks fine. Obviously, I didn't attach it well enough. Nope. Happens. If this was Sculpey 3, I'd be touching it right now and breaking it anyway, so good thing I didn't use that. I want to make sure I have color, you know, kind of all the way around, so when you're looking at these from all kinds of angles, the texture is highlighted. That sticks out there, so I want it to be a little bit brighter. Love it. Who doesn't love glimmery stuff? And then maybe on the owl itself, we'll use some of these ones. I mean, I could just leave the owl black. I could just, I mean, I'm not going to use the dark purple on Bronze Age. I'll leave that out. I hate these containers, honestly. Because they're tin, they're really hard to close and open because it doesn't give you much to grip onto. Down here. I probably won't use this color. Just closing up the ones I don't think I'm going to use on the owl. I'm going to keep out the Bronze Age, which is that darker brown. I got rid of the green brocade, the amethyst, so I'm going to keep this one out here. I'm going to keep out the vintage silk. I'm going to take out Royal Robes, which is like a pinky. Turquoise satin. And blue velvet. And then the two that we were already using. So let's put a little of this on him. I don't know. I'm nervous to get him going, so I don't know. Let's go with some of this turquoise. I don't want to do a lot on the owl. I'm just going very lightly. Now I use these same colors on my mom's project, and I was thinking to myself, like, you probably can't see them much on white, and you can't. You just get this nice, pretty shimmer. But on black, they're really, really beautiful. And again, I'll lift this up in a minute just to show you. I'm going very, very light on this. Some of the, is this the amethyst? Oh, blue velvet. Very little. Very little on my finger. I don't want to take away from the darkness of it. Maybe a little bit of Royal Robes on his nose. So that's Royal Robes. This is blue velvet, turquoise satin. And I think I'm actually going to mute some stuff down with some of the brown. I don't like how bright it is. Color-wise, I don't want it to be like a tropical bird. Yeah. Get rid of some of the color. But at least you could see it. These are great. These are fun. Super fun. And then maybe a little bit of the, I forget what this one's called. This is that one that we were using, that light brown. Vintage silk, right? A little bit over here, maybe to highlight. The side that the light would be coming on. Yeah, there's a little less color there. I'm happier with that. Still too much color down here. Cool. Okay. Done with that part. I think actually this is too blue. So I'm going to take some of this Decoart metallic luster in the black shimmer. I'm going to get rid of some of this blue and make it more of like a silvery. I don't know, for some reason the blue's just, it's not a parrot. Yeah, I'll just tint it a little bit. I actually like that color. Do a little bit more on this half. It's just different from the brown from the tree. Leave a little bit of the brown I have, but these molds have such gorgeous texture, don't they? Really good quality molds. I can't wait until she comes out with some more designs. But small business, you know, you can only have so many products before you run out of one, space, money. People aren't buying all of them. They're only buying certain ones. So then you have a whole bunch of stock that you're not selling, you know, so you got to be smart about it. Only offer a certain amount at a time. Yeah, I like that better. Cool. So that will go on our background. Awesome. I'm really like in love with this thing. I mean, it was so easy, right? No? I mean, to me, I thought, I mean, the background's super easy, but very, very effective. I have a little piece of paper on that. Very effective. Putting the wax on, super easy, but again, effective. The owl is a mold, so nothing super difficult there about that. The tree's fun, but it's not hard to make a tree. So I'm just making sure there's none of that paper, that wax paper that was stuck back here. So I really enjoyed this project. Honestly, my mom liked it. She's in our Facebook group now. She liked it. Said, "Do you want to sell it?" Her name is Julie Gordon. So I might make another one or two. I also have that other bird that might make a cool one. This bird here. This is another Zuri mold that I was potentially going to use on my mom. My mom, see, this has the vintage silk on it here, but on a light color, looks a lot different than what I put on here, huh? So I could paint this black and do another kind of one, which I may totally do because I had fun. So now all we have to do is adhere this down, sign it somehow. A lot of times I'll sign it something like this. If I don't have a bunch of oil paint out, I'll use these silver Sharpies. Which one's sharper? These work really well to sign something like this. So let's see. I don't like my signatures to be that noticeable. Like that. And then I'll actually probably on the back, right? Actually, I'll put the whole date. Mm-hmm. like to write a little thing. You never know. In 100 years from now, maybe someone will find all my pieces of work. So now we just got to glue it down. So either hot glue or some gel medium, whatever, again, whatever you have. We've done this before. Let me grab some gel medium. Gel medium will just take longer to set. Hot glue sets faster, obviously. I almost want to put my glove back on. Hang on. Get this one back on because I'm just going to use my fingers and not get something messy. What is this right here? There we go. So if you're just going to use gel medium, just make sure you're putting it down somewhere flat, and because it will take quite a few hours to set. 100%. And this is a 3D gel medium. And it's a matte as well. So it's just a nice glue to hold heavy embellishments on, gel medium is. It's a nice long-term, good for metal and stuff. Hot glue works well, but it doesn't work well on like plastics and things. Just want a thin layer on those. I wonder if I have like a Q-tip close by. Hang on. I keep Q-tips down here for stuff like this, because I don't want this to squidge out of my background. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. This one was fun. Honestly, I feel like it's pretty simple. I used like 3 colors of paint. Some basic gessos, which are a good just art product to have for priming things. You know, I really didn't go that crazy on product here, I feel like. I mean, your waxes are something you can use. There's many things to replicate that look. Like I said, oil pastels replicate that look well. Dry brushing with very little paint on your brush and some metallic paints, you could just get it to touch the texture as well, or just tapping your finger in a little bit of paint and just brushing over the texture. I'm sure you could get that same look with acrylic. So again, unless you feel like you're going to use them, don't go out and buy things. Unless you feel like, yeah, I'd use that on this, this, and this. Totally fine. I mean, if you want to, go for it. But you don't need to. Okay, I gotta stand up so I can try to get... I don't really care if it's on the edge at this point. Let me take, if you take like a little brush, now make sure if you're going to use a brush, you clean it off right off. I need to get a brush, hang on. But if you take a little brush and you have any excess, you can wipe it off and then wipe it on a paper towel. This part's hanging off a little bit, but that's okay. My name kind of got hidden a little bit, but that's fine. Actually, this gesso's already setting. It's only 60 degrees in my basement. It's good. Oh, and I did break those tabbies off. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but those little tabs I put on to help hold it, I broke those off already. So I'm just going to hold it down a little bit, especially where these little branches are popping up slightly. And really make sure I get any excess off. I mean, it will dry matte, but still don't want any glue to be showing if I can help it. I do want enough on that it holds, and holds well. I don't want this falling off a wall. That would suck. Especially if you sell things, you know. But this one I don't think is going to anybody but me or my mom. Or so if it happens to fall off, no, I don't think it will. Honestly, I really don't think it will. Gel medium, once it's dry, is really quite strong. I mean, look how beautiful. I'm actually in love with this. There's no way I'm getting rid of this thing. At least not anytime soon. I have a hard time. I have a whole box of paintings and things that I have a hard time getting rid of. Other than the people I know. Because I just have a hard time. I sold the first painting I ever sold. I regret it still. To this day, I still regret it because I'm like, I really liked that one. But I think I was in college and needed money, and someone saw it while I was painting it, and I was like, okay. Anyways, this is done. So I'll take a picture of it, and you'll be able to see it in the initial, but no, I hope you like it. I really hope you guys enjoyed that one, because I did. And I think the outcome's really awesome. Got little dusties on it. So anyways, I'm done. I guess I don't need to keep showing it to you. Very, very awesome, I think.